So before you start adding a lot of different things, because this is what happens for advisors in January, they want to go do everything. And that's a mistake. You don't need to be mediocre at 5 more things. You need to be excellent at 1 or 2. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to bring guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2025. It's great to be back after a couple weeks of hiatus/sabbatical, and welcome to a new year. Welcome to a new game. So what I thought would be value for this episode this week is to briefly give some ideas, some guidance, some strategies, how to get off to a great start this year. One of the things that I've been working on with my members inside of Magellan Network, my personal coaching clients, is to make sure that January sets the tone for the entire year. So what I'm going to do is share with you guys here same strategies that we deploy inside of our coaching game inside of Magellan Network. So I think the first thing is in order to look forward, you have to look back. And I think one of the things that's super important is you really take some time and look at your 2024 results. Now, if you're just going to look at money lines and production, for most of you, you're going to be pretty happy, right? Markets were good. I would say 80-90% of my personal clients had record years this year. For our network members, had the same thing. So it's great. Right? Markets were up 20% plus for the year. So I'm basically sailing with the wind, right? And I think one of the things when you look back at last year, I want you to take the results out for a second, right? Just pull them out. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. Number one, how was my morning ritual in 2024? Number two, how was my referral and introduction game in 2024? 3, how well did I optimize my practice in 2024? 4, how well did I lead my team? 5, how did I add massive value to my client relationships? 6, how did I do at getting the word out through marketing and branding? Okay? Because, see, good markets hide a lot of sins, a lot of faults, a lot of flaws in our game. So when we have a 20% up year in the markets, you could have just kind of hung in there and probably had a growth game this past year. So strip that out. How well did you execute? That's what matters. Now, fast forward to 2025, this year. You're into this game one of three places, right? I had a great year. in 24, and part of your brain goes, oh my God, how am I going to replicate my best year ever, if not do better, right? So I stress out about that. Second place, you had an okay year. So again, what do I need to do better, right? What do I need to tweak in order to improve my results for 2025? Last thing, last year was not good. Maybe you have some personal challenges, strategies, distractions, whatever. Here's the bottom line. Everybody starts 0 and 0, to put it in sports terms. Everybody can be a champion this year. Just because you had a record year last year doesn't mean you have a record year this year. Just because you were great last year doesn't mean you're going to be great this year. It's a new year. You got to bring it every day inside the game. Now, let's talk about this year. I'm going to talk about things that are facts, not things like geopolitical scenarios, market scenarios. We have no control over that. I have no crystal ball, so we're not going to worry about that. Let's look at the environment, the conditions that we're going to be in 2025. Number one, we're going to have more people retire in 2025 than 2024. Number two, we're going to have more advisors retire in 2025 than 2024. Especially after last year. Everybody's got great records. People are going to cash in their chips. Watch. Number three, we're going to have more businesses sell and have transactions in 2025 than 2024. So I got more opportunity, less competition, more opportunity. It's a great place to be. So let's make sure we embrace that scenario. So for a lot of you who had a great year last year, if not a record year, I think we'll have better market. I think we'll have better conditions to grow this year than last year. I just do. I think there'll be more opportunity if you go get it. If you're going to be passive and sit around, then it's not going to happen, right? We know that. And if you were to say to me, if I look back in my career, almost 31 years now, those advisors who get after it always produce more than those advisors who don't. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's one of my clients many years ago said, this is a simple business that is not easy. Advisors have a tendency to complicate it. When you boil it down, here's what it looks like. You got to lead and manage yourself. You got to lead your clients. You got to make yourself available to people to help. You got to embrace failure and change. You got to elevate your game. Understand that your bank account is going to be tied to your willingness to accept being uncomfortable. And you go play every day. Simple business, not easy. So one of the things that you want to look at for 2025 is, I don't want to add things yet, I want to eliminate things. So first thing is, take a look at all your distractions and understand the price you pay to have them. So for a point, I was talking to one of my personal clients, one of my newer personal clients, and we were talking about, hey, kind of wrapping up the year, getting ready for this year. And inside of that conversation, I said, let's talk about your saboteurs for a second. Let's talk about what sabotages you. Walk me through your daily distractions. And let's start, for those of you who are on the YouTube video, let's start with this thing here called a mobile device, right? A mobile phone. What's your favorite app? And he goes, Facebook. It's okay. First question, how many clients did you get from Facebook last year? Answer, 0. Okay. I said, I want you to open up the Facebook app. He has an iPhone. I go, how many hours have you been on Facebook on average? And it shocked him. It was about 3 hours a day, average. 3 hours. Think about that. That's like 15 hours a week. That's like 2 days. And here's what I said to him. I said, you are robbing your family of $1 million of income every year because of this, because how many years has this been going on? Imagine if you had 15 hours to market and develop your business every week for the last 5 years. You have robbed your family of $1 million. How does that make you feel? Crappy. Good. Every year you continue on doing this, it's going to cost you $1 million. You want to keep paying. Deleted the Facebook app right in front of me on the Zoom. Now he's on Facebook, but he's on weekends. So part of this is, some of you think having CNBC and Bloomberg and Fox Biz and all this stuff, it's just background noise. No, it's seeping into your brain. It's a distraction. The news is a distraction. The Athletic is a distraction. ESPN is a distraction. Let's just say a typical advisor starts their game at 6 a.m., morning ritual, maybe 5 if you're smart. And you play to like 5 or 6 in the evening, right? So let's say 12-hour days. Because I think between you get up in the morning, do your morning ritual, rock it out, wrap it up, get home, or if you're working at home, it's hard for me to think you don't do 12 hours on a tactical day. So that's our game. Do you think professional athletes are on their iPhones or their mobile devices like during a golf round? Do you think Tom Brady was on the sidelines checking The Athletic or Facebook while he was playing? Or Tiger Woods or Steph Curry or LeBron? You pick anybody you want. I don't care. No. They're focused on the task at hand. I have a tough time focusing. Why? Because you have all this stuff. Eliminate. You want to get focused? Eliminate the distractions. How do I focus more? No, eliminate. You'll focus as a byproduct. Okay? Super important. Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. What's next? If you can't control the first hour of the day, you're not going to control your day. It's really that simple. Inside of Magellan Network, we have something called the Magellan Power Hour. It's an hour protocol. It is the massive leading indicator of success on a tactical basis. If you can't control your morning, you're not going to control your day. It's pretty simple as that. And I've got a whole protocol. And by the way, if you want to find out the protocol, just go to MagellanNetwork.net and do an application for a trial. Happy to do that. But I'll tell you what we don't do in the morning. We don't start with our mobile device. We don't start with our inbox. We don't start with the internet. We start thinking about our game. We control our mornings. We get ready to be excellent that day. If you can't control your morning, you're not going to control your day. It's pretty simple, what it boils down to, right? One question you got to ask yourself every business day: what am I going to do today, or what did I do today, depending on time of day? What am I going to do today to grow my business? What did I do today to grow my business? You need to be taking daily action in the growth game. Now, for most of you, it's going to come into 2 buckets. It'll be introduction conversations, which we'll unpack in a different episode, and optimization, which we'll unpack in another episode. And maybe then some of you guys do COI, some LinkedIn marketing, stuff like that. Totally cool. What are you going to do to grow your business today? Next, look at what works. So go back to 2024 and look at all the new clients you got, right? Where did they come from? Now, unless you're doing like seminars or like Smart Asset or some lead gen, if you're doing those, it's going to be different. But if you're not doing those, it's going to be 1A, 1B, client referral COIs. So before you start adding a lot of different things, because this is what happens for advisors in January, they want to go do everything. And that's a mistake. You don't need to be mediocre at 5 more things. You need to be excellent at 1 or 2. And for most of you, again, unless you're doing some third-party lead gen outbound seminar, lead gen things, it's going to be rockstar your referral game, rockstar your COI game, rockstar your optimization game. 3 things. That's it. Don't complicate it. Next, consistency matters. So you can have a great Monday, an okay Tuesday, a mediocre Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, you fall off. It's average at best. One of the things that's really important is being consistent. So when you're like, here we are, January, right? Early January, everybody's excited, everybody's motivated, everybody's inspired, right? New year, January effect, resolutions, get organized, all that jazz. And you'll hold yourself to a higher standard in January because you're self-motivated. The problem with motivation is like sunburn, it disappears. And in my experiences, it disappears between week number 4 and week number 6. So somewhere between February 1st and February 15th, the sunburn is over, the January effect is gone. And now we're into the grind of the game. That's separation season. A lot of people think like I'm this big motivational person, but I'm probably not a big motivational person. I don't view myself as such. If somebody says to me, what's more important, being motivated or being committed? Commitment by a factor of 10x. Being motivated is just like how the wind blows. Being committed is you'll find a way no matter what. So when somebody says, Joe, I need to be more motivated, I said, no, you don't. That's your problem. You've been trying to be motivated for 20 years, and it comes and goes. What you're not is committed to your success. That's the difference. So come about week 6, we find out who's committed and who's not. That's what happens. So make sure that while it's fun right now and you're enthusiastic and excited and self-motivated, understand that you will hit the wall eventually. We all do. And when they hit the wall, if you're committed, you'll find a way through it, up it, over it, around it. If you're not committed, you'll look at it as an obstacle and you'll stop. And then you go back to good enough mode, rinse and repeat mode, and that's it. And then you're tying your fate to the market. And what happens there? Next. Most of you set goals. And I just did a private session for a group. I said, let's say you have a goal, a production goal. What's the next question you ask yourself? How am I going to get it done? Right? How? How am I going to do this? So here's the goal. How am I going to get it done? And that's why it usually doesn't happen, by the way. There are 4 frames to a goal. 4. What the goal is. Why it's a must. That's box number 2, frame number 2. Who do you need to become to get it? Your evolution, personally. Then how to get it done. 95% advisors, here's the goal, how am I going to do it? That's why it doesn't happen. The why it's a must and who do I need to become are 80% of that goal. Or 80% of that. If you're setting goals with just the goal and how am I going to get done, you're playing with 20% power, not 80% power. You put it all together, then you're really rocking it. One thing you got to remember, the 2024 version of you will not accomplish your 2025 goals. You've got to become a different version. It's critical. All right? Next. Commit to your energies, your physical, mental, and emotional. This is, somebody says to me, like, Joe, what are really some of the key foundational elements of success? We overvalue intellectual capital. Let's go get educated. Let's go get a designation. Let's go learn. I'm not saying that's not important, but it's not the differentiator. It's not the differential. It's your physical, mental, and emotional energy. Physical energy, gas in the tank. The more fit you are, the more energy you have, the more you deploy that throughout the day. Mental energy, critical thinking, problem solving. Emotional energy, influence, leadership, coaching. You've got to cultivate all those 3 energies. If you take care of the physical one, the other 2 are byproducts. You're not physically fit, you'll struggle. You just will. Usually for most advisors, after lunch, they fall off a cliff from a productivity standpoint. Why? They're not fit. I'm not saying you have to run a marathon or be a triathlete, but get healthy, get fit, take care of yourself. The more energy you have, the more money you make. It's immutable. It's the way it works. Okay? What else we need to get started this year? Make this month the highest contact month. I want you to reach out to everybody, all clients, all prospects, all COIs. Why? The January effect. People reevaluate. They come up with new goals. They make resolutions, even though they're not going to stick to them. In January, they're real. More people are open to change and improvement in January than any other month. Just look at our data. What month do most people join a health club? January. What month do most people hire a coach, a nutrition plan, a dietitian, stuff like that? January. It's called the January effect. People are seeking self-improvement. Take advantage of that. Reach out. Play in traffic. Do some things. Last thing I'll say for today. How else you get off to a great start this year? Have a business plan. Have a game plan. Have it in writing. Don't be rudderless. And make sure that you're investing 5% back into you in some sort of coaching, training, development program. It doesn't have to be with me. There are plenty of colleagues out there that run really good programs. I'm not for everybody. My Magellan Network's not for everybody. I'm not here to make people happy. I'm here to shoot straight. And I'll name some that I love. Limitless is great. CEG is great. Oxley's great. Sullivan's great. There's plenty of programs. Find one you resonate with and then go all in. Invest your capital and go all in with those programs. Just do it. They're all great. I've got clients in all of them, which I know sounds weird. That's cool. But find something to make yourself better. Do not sit there and let your ego, because here's what happens. Ego gets in the way. I believe every advisor should be involved with a coach at some level. It's my core beliefs. One of my core beliefs. Doesn't have to be with me, but be with somebody. If you think that you don't need a third party, if you think you've got this thing all figured out, then this is why you're not achieving the way you want to achieve. Or maybe you are achieving economically, but your body's busted. Your personal relationships, you're burnt out, you have no balance. You're not enjoying the game. So don't get caught up in just economic success. Oh, I don't need a coach, Joe. I'm doing a couple $1 million a year. Da, da, da. Yeah, man. But you're miserable. And that's not my version of success. All right? So, if you want to check us out, me, MagellanNetwork.net. We have a little bit of a different value proposition than everybody else. And if I'm not the right one, go reach out to the others. But do yourself a favor. Invest 5% of your top line in you with whomever you think is best. Happy 2025. Thanks for listening and watching this episode of the Magellan Network Show. See you guys in 7 days. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.